Euaoi.
In one of my previous videos where I was critical of the North American Vexillological Association and the flag reform movement for prioritizing looks over historical significance, I mentioned that the state of Illinois was currently holding a referendum for changing the state flag. Since I made that video, the Illinois Flag Commission narrowed the large pool of nearly 5,000 submissions down to 10 finalists. On December 9th, 2024, the commission held a Teams meeting where they ultimately picked the final designs. The public will then vote online for one of the 10 new designs in January, or for one of the 3 former flag designs, which include the current state flag, the 1918 Centennial Flag, and the 1968 Sesquicentennial Flag, where the results of the vote will be reported to the commissions on April 1st, where the assembly members will vote on whether to adopt a new flag, return to a previous version of the flag, or retain the current flag. It should also be noted that the state's General Assembly will make the final decision regardless of the results of the public vote, so they could just completely ignore the will of the people if they wanted to. I will be addressing my opinion on the designs of the 10 finalists and the redesign process in general. I should also mention that my opinions should not be taken as the truth or gospel for flag design in any way, shape, or form. If you disagree with any of my opinions, then that doesn't mean you're wrong or you don't know anything about flag design. You are free to disagree. With all of that out of the way, let's see which designs ended up making the cut. The first one I'm going to be talking about is Submission 200, which I like to call the flag of the Democratic People's Republic of Illinois, because it looks like the flag of North Korea. As for its symbolism, the biggest blue stripe represents Lake Michigan, while the smaller blue stripes represent the Mississippi and Illinois rivers. The center blue stripe contains 20 smaller stars surrounding a center star, which represent Illinois as the 21st state, while the white stripes represent different parts of the state's economy. Having the white stripes representing the industry, commerce, and agriculture honestly feels like a stretch to me, but the design itself is a solid 7 out of 10. The next one is Submission 896, which I'm going to call the slight modification. And that's because it's the same exact design as the current state flag, just without the state's name on the bottom and the 2 red and blue bars on both sides of the flag. This design was submitted for cost-cutting reasons by calling it practical and economic. And honestly, I love the out-of-the-box thinking used here. 9 out of 10. Yes, I'm unironically giving it that because the current state flag does have a lot of historical significance, and the slight modification helps it stand out from the rest. Feel free to disagree if you want, but that's what I think. Up next is Submission 2246, which I'm going to call the Corporate Farm Flag. Because of all the designs in the finals, this one is by far the most corporate. There are 21 stripes resembling rows of crops to represent Illinois as the 21st state and its agricultural roots. 3 6-pointed stars represent the state's 3 regions, and there are 18 points referencing Illinois' founding in 1818. A sun on the horizon, also featured on the current state flag, represents renewal. The colors also represented are blue for unity, green for agriculture, and yellow for a bright future. Guess you don't really have to be a genius as long as people think you sound smart by explaining this. 1 out of 10. The next 2 submissions are similarly designed, so I'm going to be rating them simultaneously, with those 2 submissions being 2752 and 3679, which I'm going to be calling Illuette 1 and Illuette 2. Since they both feature a silhouette of the state of Illinois with 21 stars surrounding, again representing Illinois being the 21st state. With the main differences being 3679 has a silhouette of Lincoln's face within the silhouette of Illinois, and the 21st star is bigger than the rest, with its location symbolizing Chicago, despite the fact it's not the capital of Illinois. While 2752 has the silhouette of Illinois within a white circle, and there are 2 thin cyan bars on the side representing the Mississippi River and Lake Michigan. 2752 gets an 8 out of 10, while 3679 gets a 9 out of 10. Up next is submission 3754, which I'm going to call Lincoln's Bird's Eye, because the central circle abstractly resembles the view from above Abraham Lincoln's hat. The gold-colored star symbolizes Illinois' richness, people, land, and views. A horizontal blue line symbolizes Lake Michigan, separating the sky from the rich land, while the two smaller lines are there for decoration. I'm going to give this person points for honesty regarding the two thin lines instead of coming up with some harebrained explanation for what it's supposed to represent. 8 out of 10. Now on to submission 4129, which I'm going to be calling Industrial Corn, because the flag features a 21-pronged gear inside of 6 corn kernels, which represent the agricultural and industrial foundations of Illinois and its status as the 21st state admitted to the Union. The 4 dark blue bars represent Lake Michigan, the Mississippi River, the Ohio River, and the Chicago River/Illinois River system. I hate flag designs that use multiple shades of the same color, and I'm not a big fan of this design here. Having a gear inside corn also looks really tacky. 3 out of 10. Moving on to submission 4220, God, I wish there was one less too, which I'm going to call Lincoln NBA, because it looks like the NBA logo. When I first saw this flag, I was wondering what on earth that white blob is supposed to be representing. Only until I found out that the white blob is just the negative space between Lincoln's silhouette and the silhouette of the state of Illinois. The design is still uncanny. 4 out of 10. For the penultimate flag here, submission 4321, which I'm just going to call the butterfly. That's because the state butterfly, the monarch butterfly, is the focal point of this flag that includes 21 stars for, you guessed it, Illinois being the 21st state, with the large star representing Illinois. One thing I love about this flag is the orange navy blue contrast. It just looks so sharp, and there may be some bias since orange is my favorite color. While a lot of the flags here tried to cram as much symbolism into its design as possible, I appreciate it for taking only 2 different symbols of Illinois and making an eloquent design out of it. I just wish there were some navy blue lines on the wings to represent the monarch butterfly's wing pattern. But nonetheless, 9 out of 10. Now for the grand finale, submission 4669, which I'm going to be calling Illinois Surance. And that's because this flag looks like something you'd see from an insurance company run by the Illinois state government. The 21 red and white stripes represent, do I even need to say it at this point? The blue field with the 6-pointed white star represents Chicago. The negative space from the blue and white fields form the shape of an eye to represent Illinois. Overall, a very middle of the road design. 5 out of 10. Here's a list of how I would rank the 10 submissions from best to worst. As for my opinion on how the contest is being run, I think the Illinois state government is doing a much better job than Minnesota state government when they were redesigning their flag last year. And that's mainly because the state government is actually letting their citizens vote on which of the designs they like the best, as well as giving them an option to stick with their current flag if they wanted to. Unlike Minnesota's state government, where they picked a design without consulting the public's opinion and didn't even give them a choice if they wanted to keep their current flag or not. And as mentioned in my previous flag video criticizing NAVA, a 49% plurality wished to keep the old state flag of Minnesota. One critique I have is that the Illinois government never really showed all of the submissions to the public. And it would be nice to see what other designs these 10 flags were going up against. The only rejected submissions I do know were the ones that were posted on Reddit. Another thing I find rather questionable is the vote. Because Illinois residents are going to be voting for a new flag in January, they can only vote online, and the results won't be reported until April 1st. So are they going to have 3 months to vote for a design? Wouldn't it make more sense if they also had an option to vote in person? Also, I'm just thinking how funny it would be if the current flag ended up winning because the redesign votes ended up getting split 12 different ways. And that outcome seems to be very possible, given the fact that this vote doesn't use ranked choice voting. So anyways, what's your opinion on the 10 finalists from the flag redesign contest? Do you agree or disagree with me on my ratings? How would you rank the 10 flags from best to worst? Do you wish that Illinois residents had more options to vote for a design instead of just doing it online? Do you think the current state flag is going to win due to a 12-way split between the redesigns? Feel free to leave your takes in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.